Hello, happy folks. I hope you guys are having just an absolutely amazing day today. So today on the top 10s that I do for my Fridays, for you folks, I do a few different top 10s. I've recently done my top 10 board games, my top 10 stuff like that, a lot of top 10 films, like top 10 comedies and silent films and that sort of thing. I recently did my top 10 musical artists and albums, and I thought it would be fun for me to go look at my top 10 comics. I grew up loving comics. You could buy them from a local store in Southern West Virginia and stuff like that. They had comic racks and that sort of thing. You didn't have to go to a comic store to buy them and that sort of thing. That's the era I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. Born in 76 and that sort of thing. So we'll be looking at my tops and such. All right. Now, just as a heads up, there are no limited series here, just other stuff, right? And sort of things. All right. So get ready for a few themes. You're going to see two of those themes in the first, number 10. All right, let's get started. So number 10 is the West Coast Adventures by Marvel, and that sort of thing. This debuted earlier on when I was watching. I regularly got it, loved it lots. And when I went back and read the series entirely a few years later, getting into it and that sort of thing, I loved where they went with, particularly in the early on era. In fact, the early editions of the West Coast Adventures actually outsold the Adventures, so that's not uncommon. That sort of thing. I love how they did it, particularly in the earlier. And one of their adventures is Firebird is early on, is one of my favorite adventures too. All right, so let's take a look at number 9. Number 9 is Black Panther from Marvel. Black Panther is another one of my favorite characters. Love him lots and that sort of thing. He's one of the first black characters to have his own dedicated superheroes things and that sort of thing. Loved him lots and such. His comics are always great, particularly like the first one. I think that's very, very strong stuff. Love it lots. But all the Black Panther stuff's great, so love it lots. All right, now number 8 is the New Adventures in Marvel. This replaced the Adventures and such. It was written. It was a little long form at times, like it was written for the trade era of 6-issue arcs. So it can be a little slower paced at stuff at times, just a heads up. But it's still good. I think it's good stuff. Love it a lot. So this has a New Adventures, and that's the theme, right? There's 2 Adventures titles in the top 10. Alrighty, and they're both by Marvel. 3 Marvel titles. Number 7 is Invincible by Image Comics. Love that lots. I love the art. Love Kirkman's writing style and that sort of thing. Who wrote it early on, Robert Kirkman, and that sort of thing. Love it lots. Love what they did with the characters and that sort of thing. And that's number 7. Number 6 is Why the Last Man by Vertigo. Why the Last Man is a strong telling of the last person, the last man who has lived past the disease, and that sort of thing. Has only left women, and that sort of thing. I have read the entire series. Have it on trade paperback. Love it lots. And so that is Why the Last Man for you folks. And then that's the highest hitting one before the top 5 proper. And now the next theme is going to be inserted for the next 3. Right, number 5 is Conan the Barbarian by Marvel. I love this so much. I think as I started getting it when I was a kid from a local IGA. Loved it lots. Loved what was happening with Conan so much. And that sort of thing. Love his character arcs. Love his characters. Love his concepts. And that sort of thing. All right, so number 4 is the Conan comic without the Barbarian after it by Dark Horse Comics. More mature stuff. Loved it lots. It was originally launched by one of my favorite comic authors, Kurt Busiek, who I loved lots. Strong stuff. And love him. And so I think he definitely does some great stuff with the Conan concepts in number 4, Dark Horse. That's the highest scoring independent. Right now, all the top 30. Number 3 is The Savage Sword of Conan by Marvel. The Savage Sword of Conan, I picked it up. I sort of was like, wow, this is so amazing. It's black and white with oversized print. Love it with more of a magazine style thing. Love it lots and that sort of thing. So like these oversized pages, huge art, great stuff. Black and white stuff, absolute classics to my mind. And that's The Savage Sword of Conan by Marvel. Number 2 is The Thunderbolts by Marvel 2. I love what they did in the first issue and the first era, and that sort of a thing. I love what happens here, and for a while, because the New Adventures, the number 1 was let go and canceled, and I like this better than number 8. As you can tell, this is heading number 2. It was actually my favorite current comic that was being produced. Love it lots. I was also created by Kurt Busiek too. He is hugely, I think what he does here in the Thunderbolts is an absolute classic. No spoilers in the first issue, but love it so much. Alrighty, so that's the Thunderbolts by Marvel. Number 1 is The Avengers by Marvel 2, the only title that I subscribed to when I was a kid growing up in southern West Virginia, because I want to make sure, because they didn't always have them sold out and that sort of thing at the local place. So I would subscribe to it and then get it sent to my mailbox so I can just make sure I read it. It's the only comic I subscribe to going out. Alright, so there you go. So those are my top 10 comic titles. So let me go over those again with you. Number 10 is West Coast Avengers by Marvel. Number 9 is Black Panthers Marvel. Number 8 is The New Avengers is Marvel. Number 7 is Invincibles is Image Comics. Number 6 is The Why, The Last Man by Vertigo. Number 5 is Marvel's is Conan the Barbarian. Number 4 is Dark Horse Comics' Conan. Number 3 is Savage Sword of Conan by Marvel. Number 2 is the Thunderbolts by Marvel, and number 1 is also the Adventures by Marvel 2. You can see 3 Adventures titles in there, a bunch of Marvel titles, 3 Conan titles. That's all right. I think you can see some themes in there. Alrighty, so there you are for you folks. So have you read those titles? And again, no miniseries are hitting. So what did you think about them? What would be your top 10 comic titles overall? Just let me know your thoughts in the comments below, right? And again, these have to be ongoing titles, not limited series, like Secret Wars, that sort of thing. And so there you are. Thanks, bunches. And just let me know your thoughts and that sort of thing. Remember to go back and watch some of my previous top 10s. If you enjoy this, love a lot. Also, tomorrow is the day I dedicate to our Serial Saturdays, the forgotten movie telling stories of serials and that sort of thing growing up. So if you like that, you'll definitely enjoy checking that out for you folks. Tomorrow I'm doing Tarzan the Tiger, the silent era serial, 15 episodes long from 29 a couple weeks ago. Or sorry, last week I did 35. So is the New Adventures of Tarzan, also a movie serial too, the last one. To be made in the movable serial era. So if you like those sorts of things, check them out. I also did the first 2 episodes for season of Doctor Who from the 60s. So if you like that stuff, also check them out too. And then on Wednesday, I do reviews of older video games. I just did Don't Starve and Don't Starve Together and back-to-back reviews. On Monday, I do reviews of older RPGs or war games like Dungeons & Dragons, or also things like Battletech 2. I just did my review of B1's In Search of the Unknown from 78 it was by Back Me. It was the first one that launched a basic set and that sort of thing and such. And so you'll check it out. It's by Mike Carr. That sort of thing. I've done a bunch of previous ones, like I just finished the Ultimate G1 through Q1 series, A7 and module series, and that sort of thing by Gary Guys. So I guess those things, check them out too. And then finally, I do 3 reviews a week of older things in the science fiction, fantasy, and horror genres that this covers that you have to read, like books or novels or short stories, that sort of thing. So if you like those 7 things from older things, check out my channel. Do all the YouTube stuff like subscribe or hit the bell icon if you're feeling frisky. You're notified of my 7 videos, like and share. But just watch and share. Those are the cute ways of helping out the channel for you folks. And there you are. Alrighty. As a reminder, all these older things is also where the title of the channel comes from. The worst thing about new books, the fact is that we oftentimes will forget about these older things because that's the worst thing about them, is that they keep us from reading the old ones, right? And new stuff for soul shines. Not that they're bad, but in our pursuit of the new movie, the new novel, those sorts of things, we have forgotten the better things that are from the past, right? And that sort of thing. So finding these sorts of things is definitely a passion of this channel. Alrighty, so there you are. I want to thank you so very, very much, for just taking some time out of your day and just investing in watching my videos, right? Because we all have so many things, right, that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions, right? So the fact that you spent this time with me, it's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it so very, very much. Thanks again, and have an amazing day.